Hello there, beautiful sacred one. I'm Monica Bermudez, an intuitive quantum energy healer, and I want to talk about 5 things to know about this month of July of 2023 as we're stepping into new energies. Every month is always a new energy, so I am just tuning into the collective energy to feel into what, tapping into it as I'm feeling it myself, energetically through my body and through messages that I receive that I share with you, and what I'm feeling from the collective at the moment of this. As I'm recording this, actually, the planet for Neptune just went into retrograde and is going to be in retrograde until December 6th. And so it starts on June 30. And this is like the last day of the month of June, and so we're stepping into a whole new month of energies, starting with this retrograde for Neptune. The month of July, numerology, in a number sequence of energy, because every number is a universal numbers. They all have their own type of energy to them, and so I also like to look at the number as well. And so July is the number 7. And so the number 7 is about the cycles of spiritual cycle evolution. And 2023, the year itself, adds up to 7 as well. So if you add up the 2 plus the 0 plus the 2 and plus the 3, you'll get a 7. And so that gives it a double emphasis of the energy of the number 7, because for me it's also about this expansive spiritual evolution energy that we're all going through this year, because there is just so much that has been coming up in the collective. What may appear as being chaotic has some kind of order behind it, because it all has its reasons for it. And part of it is because what needs to be seen will be shown through triggers or things that may get us triggered, are areas that haven't been fully healed as well. And so when you see a lot of movement and action and a bit of this chaos in the collective, there is something that is being released in the moment, and we're all going through this. I'm going through this myself, just noticing and observing others and trying not to get in the mix of certain drama or chaos in the area, and try to still keep myself balanced in the midst of all this chaos, because we all have the capability to do so. And I know that, it's challenging at times being human in this physical form to still maintain our spiritual side and still be able to live here on this earth, and to work with the other things that are occurring that are, some of the old structures that are still in place. And when I mean the old structures, is this old way of thinking that we are limited and that this is our only physical reality of what we see in front of us. But the truth of it all is that within us, our own spiritual side of our soul, which is very expansive, it is the majority of, more so than the physical. And so as our soul is expanding more so, because that's what these new energies are bringing, is expanding more of us, and we are tapping more into our own soul essence. The more that we tap more into our hearts and heal more of our wounds in our hearts, and we'll start tapping more into what our soul is calling us to at this time, in our mission, our purpose, and even to like certain relationships as well. And part of that is because we are realigning ourselves and being recalibrated and also reset in a way, to really be into our own authentic beings that we are, which we are this universal powerful force of energy that also carries a lot of the creative energy within ourselves. And so we have the ability to reshape and reshift our reality the way it is, manifest and create the things that we desire, because the energies are very supportive for this at this time. And when I say, create and manifest, that also includes any type of negative thoughts. So it's so important to just have that conscious awareness as much as possible. If there is, any negative self-talk to self, or if putting oneself down or criticizing self, which is one of the things that I've done for many years until I decided that I wanted to stop that, and just consciously and willingly start to shift that and to look at myself in a very different way, which has really expanded on the self-love. And the moment that I catch myself, being in that negative self-talk, I immediately pull myself into this rebalanced state within my own heart. And so that is, where you start, is just building that awareness, however that may be. So the month of July, I feel that because, in June, there was some form of recalibration that was occurring. And there's going to be some more of this as well, like in July, some kind of tune-up, recalibration, reset, especially being with these planets in retrograde. Usually when a planet's in retrograde, that just means that it's about going inward and within. And each planet, of course, has its own meaning and symbolism. And, whatever each planet will have more meaning for you depending on your own birth chart. But speaking, from a collective and energetically, what I'm feeling collectively is that, with Neptune being retrograde, that Neptune, which is the planet of illusions, and also about dreams, because it's also a water sign type planet. And so when, going into retrograde, is almost like we're seeing beyond the veil, or beyond the illusions of this world, of this physical reality that we have built as a society, of how we have been living for eons. But it's really just pulling more of that veil and just looking in deeper within your soul to find and tap more within yourself. And so just bursting those bubbles for those who haven't been fully awakened, and just going beyond that, the illusions of those things. And the dreams, being that of things that are to manifest, because to me, water is just a very receptive element. And so there is some receptivity here. There's also coming with this flow of this element of water within us. And we are, mostly made of water, as Dr. Emoto Masuro had, also talked about the messages of water. If you're not familiar with them, check out, some of his contents. They're so amazing, some of the water formations and the experiments that he did with them. And it just tells you a lot about the water in us, and how we are feeding ourselves with our own thoughts and words, because all of that, the water that within our bodies is also receiving that. And so it just makes it 10 times more so of creating that in our life, and creating unhealthy mindset and an unhealthy heart, and overall physically can also create health problems too. And that's what studies have shown, that stress creates a lot of unhealthy things in the physical, in our body, that just manifest themselves as pains of all kinds. So some of the things to know, right? So then, in the beginning of July, we're also going to start with a big portal. Well, actually, the first one will be the full moon, which is July 3rd. And that in itself is a portal. It's a super moon, meaning that the moon is much closer in proximity to the earth in a physical way. And so the effects and the energies of that full moon will be even much stronger. So the moon cycle actually has an effect on the waters, the waters being on the ocean and the waves and how they come in stronger. So if it's affecting the waters in the ocean, it's also affecting the waters in our body. And so that's why you'll see certain people acting in a certain way that may be more triggering, or being triggered in that way. And then moving into the beginning of July still, we will go into another portal, which is the 777. Sounds like a lucky number when you're gambling, if you're into the slot machines, right? You get the 777. And the reason being because the month of July is 7 and the day of 7, and then you have the year, which adds up to 7, makes that a 777. And so it is a very powerful portal, is what it feels like, that is opening up this opportunity of this connection to prepare us into the 888 or the 88, Lion's Gate, that opens up, usually, I want to say it opens up maybe closer to like that 777 gateway portal. And so they are interconnected in that way. It's offering this opportunity for us to receive these greater encodements in ourselves, for us to be upgraded and to be recalibrated and retuned with the new energies for the earth, starting in July. And then in July, I believe it's July 17th, but it's mid-July sometime, we will have the new moon, which is another portal itself. And the new moon to plant those new seeds of intention for forward movement. So all the things that you did to clear and clean up, yourself for the full moon, you just created this new space for you to set new intentions and put in much stronger foundations moving forward for what it is that you wish to do here on this new earth, and how you're going to be manifesting that. And what's so important from that is having the why behind it. So I am planning to do the Circle of Quantum Conscious Creators group on the day of the new moon, and I'll have all the details in the description area. But every month, except for in June, I've been having the Circle of Quantum Conscious Creators, where we all come together as a group and set very focused intentions with meaning, with purpose, and with your own structures and plans to make them happen. Because since the energies are so strong right now, it is a much more flowy energy. And so it just makes it much more powerful together as a group. And I have been seeing these results myself personally, because things have just been manifesting themselves in a way, and at times, it came in so accelerated, so quantum accelerated, that it almost scared me. And so the key is to be prepared for what it is that you're asking for, these manifestations and these creations in your life. And so, I'll talk more about that as well during the group session. So I invite you to register if you feel called to it, if you're interested in being a part of this group. We most certainly would love to have you. So I want to jump into the 5 things to know about the month of July. Just to recap, some of the things that I just kind of talked about. And before I jump in, I think I forgot to mention that also Saturn is in retrograde already, and I believe it started on June 17. It will go on to November 4th. And Saturn itself is a planet about the karmic cycles, and it's about structures. And these structures and cycles in our life, and it's about really just learning our lessons and reevaluating those lessons that we have learned thus far, from when we were in our childhood up to this point, or maybe other past lives that we may be remembering as well, that we have we're completing the cycles, and we're just reevaluating that, learning from them, and moving on from there. And so that's what this energy of Saturn in retrograde offers as an opportunity for us. So the number one thing to know about the month of July is that there is this massive quantum change that is, occurring, as I mentioned, because there is a lot of this movement of planets and energies that are calling for a greater change in our life, however that may be. And some of you may already have moved and are living in new cities or places. And so all of that's been a shift, but there may be other things that may be coming as well, aside from that are going to be major in your life, but it's all part of the ascension process. It's all part of the realignment to your own soul essence and connecting to your universal self that you are within your soul. So number two thing is to trust this flow, because there is a lot of this water message sign. So water is also about this flowing energy, and flowing in a form that you have this trust in the universe, where the energies are taking you at this point, following your gut feeling, following your heart, listening to your heart compass, heart GPS, as I would call it, to navigate through these times of energetic shifts and chaos at this time. And number three is discernment is a must, because of all the fluctuating changes going on, and it seems like all this information is coming from all over the place, right? There's a lot of distractions going on with the news media, and also information that you may be gathering through other social media, which it's through YouTube, whatever. So whatever message you get from anywhere, from anyone, it is always so important to always utilize your discernment to what resonates to you out of your own willpower. And so this, comes from your heart essence, in following what resonates for you in the moment and what you feel aligns with you for that time, and what works for you. And so just really tapping into your own heart and being able to discern that information that you receive. So you don't have to accept all information that is given to you, and just know that for sure that you have that ability to discern, or just keep practicing that discernment, because it is much needed right now with all this chaotic energy and information coming from everywhere. Number four is keep heart center. So be in your own heart, keeping your own inner heart balance of your own divine masculine and divine feminine energy, and utilizing, and that's part of this whole discernment as well, and trusting that flow of the universe, but being balanced within your own heart. And the fifth thing I want to share with you is that July feels like getting this activated, type of energy, because of these portals that are opening up, like that 777 leading into this Lionsgate portal. And it feels like we just need to constantly remind ourselves to stay grounded and be grounded, be with the earth, however that may be. And also having more water consumption, because since I had talked about the fact that we are mostly made of water, that means that we need to drink as much water as we can for our own health benefits, physical body, but also because when we drink more water, it gives us the cells the ability to hold more of these new encodements coming into the earth that we are receiving from the celestial planets, from the cosmos, from the star energy. All these planets like Neptune, like Saturn and Pluto. It's been an amazing time of energies, but also scary at the same time, and frustrating too. So it's been a combination of many energies. So I just want to say, just hang in there. And just remember, some of these things to keep in mind, of the 5 things that I just shared. And what is so important is that you stay within your heart, that you try to maintain yourself in that balanced state. And the more balanced and calm that you could be, the more that you could be in that discernment and know where it is that your heart is calling, where your soul is calling, because the heart is really the gateway to your soul. And so when you feel this calling and, you get into what it may seem like very scary, calling. And so the fear and the doubt may creep in, which is, part of our ego, of our own human self. And it's just knowing that discernment as well within, knowing when it's the ego and when it is the higher self within your own heart, and what is the truth of your own soul, of your own authenticity. And that is where we are, at this time, is just having that ability. That is what we're here to learn, is to be able to stay in that balanced state, even in the midst of all this chaos and energy. And so I know that you can do it. So if I can do it, I know you can do it. And so that's where I leave you with this message. So if you like this message, click like, share with others, and subscribe, because I'll be sharing more messages to come. I feel like, this month of July is also a time for its own rest, but there's also some form of action as well for us to because of all these changes that are occurring at this time. All right, well, I am sending you so much love, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.